So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live Thursday show. It's recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. So I thought I would start with the first page of my Fantomorphia by Kirby Roseanne. I've had a bit of a practice with some Graphitint pencils, watercolour pencils, Derwents, and I've just had a bit of a practice with the Derwent with my watercolour set pencils. So in my pencil case I've put three makes of pencils together because they're very, very similar. They're very good quality. The Derwents are professional watercolours, but the Caran Swiss colour and the Prismacolor watercolours, they're very, very well pigmented and they've got a really nice binder, very similar to the Derwents. So you can use them together and you're not going to be working with complete different mediums. And I've put them in colour order rather than manufacturer. So instead of having three different sections, all my yellows are together, all my oranges are together, all my skin tones. And then I love this pencil case because it flips over. I'll put a link in the description below. So I've got my reds, my pink reds, my purples and my dark purples. I have my purple blues, cold blues, dark blues, green blues, and then I have my light greens, dark greens and olive colours. And then on the back page I have my browns from light to dark, and I've included gold and straw because they're kind of very pale siennas. And then on the back I've got, in this particular set of 40, you get a gold and a silver in the Caran Swiss colour. I've got three whites, I've got my greys going from pale to dark, and then my three blacks. And I've got my Derwent Graphitones, so I've got them in stick form and in pencil form. So because they have that little water brush mark on them, it means they are water soluble. So you can do a black and white grayscale. So I want to do a few of those. And this particular pencil case I'm using as a watercolour case. So I will be putting a sketchbook in there. I'll be putting a good quality sketchbook for my paper palettes, and also a colour book and a sketchbook. And I'm hoping to take it away with me, so I was just practicing of how I'm going to cope with not having any other products with me, just my watercolour pencils. So I've scratched the Derwent straw number 5 and made a little square. So what I tend to do with this way is make the highlight colour first. So put the highlight colour on first, and then we can let that dry, and then we can go back and we can work into it. This is taking a bit longer than the usual way to work, but I kind of like this. So this straw colour is going to be the highlight for the claws, which we can just see a tint of colour. Because I've wet it and I've rubbed it a little bit with the brush, don't really want to go there again now. I can go play somewhere else. I like to pick out the easiest ones first. Oh, there is an ivy there, look, that's an ivy. So I think I'm going to pick the ivy colours and go to my greens, and I have an ivy colour in the colour swatch, this colour swish colour, olive green number 51. Then I have a pale green. I've got an olive green in the Prisma, and I have a cedar green, which I kind of like as a shadow. So I'm going to put the darkest one, which is the Swiss colour. So what I'm doing on these pages is I'm writing Fantomorphia. Now I could put bird page, but there's only 12 pages in this new book, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but we love Kirby Roseanne, so we'll forgive him. But it was a bit of a shocker, I have to say. having just a few pages. So this is the Swiss colour, and on the back here it says 61487. So I've got to put 61487 so I can make this selection again. I've got olive green 51. So I kind of like that one, so I'm going to put 51. And I'm not going to bother with the other two. I just want two colours, but I do want a kind of a pale yellow, because I want a kind of a highlight. So I want a cold one, so a warm one would be quite nice. Warm's quite nice with olives. So I'm going to go with Naples yellow. And I can pop that one back and use a pencil because I forgot to write 7. So I use my, I'm using the 3 brushes here. Puss, don't do that. Bungle. I have a little puss in here who's scratching the furniture because he's bored. I have Bungle. Puss, 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 puss. I have 1, 3 and 5 of the Winsor & Newton Professional Watercolour Sable Riggers, and that's given me a small, a medium and a large. I also use the tiny little Winsor & Newton Travel little brush that comes with the little pans, because I find that's a really good size for a really tiny space. So these leaves aren't particularly very big, so I'm going to be using the smaller sable. In fact, I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use my Daler Rowney Aqua brushes, and I've got a 2, a 4 and a 6, because I kind of like this smaller brush. Bungle, behave yourself. He wants to play with the other cat and she's not having any of it. So I'm going to mix these two together and see what happens. And then we can activate this one and put it with this one, because I want to highlight. So I've used the same middle tone, but I've got a darker and a lighter, and I've got a light and a dark. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on the palest part of, so some of the cross hatching and hatching has been done. So if this was going to be a highlight, that's where it would be, on the palest side. Hello, Trouble. We have Trouble here. This is Trouble. This is the tiny kitten. No, he's not a tiny kitten anymore. Hi, Trouble. Where are you going? Where are you going? Can you sit here with Mummy, please? Can you sit with Mummy? There's a good boy. You can sit with Mummy. You sit on Mummy's knee. You're going to sit there. You're going to sit there, are you? I know. You're a beautiful boy. This is the little kitten that we had. He's, I think he's 6 months old now. Are you, Bungle? Are you 6 months old? You like paintbrushes, don't you? He's beautiful. He's beautiful, is our Bungle. But he knows that he's beautiful, don't you, Bungle? Unfortunately, he's going to always have a snotty nose. So we'll have to work round the cat. Yes, he's going to be playing. It's like having a toddler. He's a spoilt boy, he's our Bungle. It's a bit like an Alfie. He's turned into an Alfie. So we've got our little puss there. So all I'm doing is just putting a little bit of yellow where there isn't any cross hatching, and working with half a desk. I know, darling, you're beautiful. This is little Bungle. He's not very well, bless him. He's going to have a snotty nose forever. He's never going to get rid of his snotty nose. Which is so nice to know, isn't it, Bungle? But it doesn't seem to affect him, he's just snotty. He's just snotty. Oh, Bunnies are having a moment. All the animals are playing up, must be tea time. So you can use these pencils in different ways. You can scratch colour on and do the whole page, and then you can leave them and you can activate them when you're on holiday with a brush. Or just see if that's one behind. I'm a bit confused. I'm going to leave that one. So I'm going to put the middle one on next. Suzanne says Alfie Jr. Yes. Oh, I just covered the leaf behind, but never mind. I can rectify that if I use that as a darker one. You can always do things. So if you scratch the colour on but didn't activate it, and it was in the wrong place, you can erase it. It's only when you've activated it with water you can't erase it. Are you not comfortable there, Bungle, are you, darling? Hmm? Now where are you going? No, don't sit on there. Come on. He's a huge boy, is Bungle. Huge boy, aren't you? Huge boy. And he's got this most beautiful fluffy tail. That's a good boy. You go there. No, be nice. Be nice, Bungle. He wants to play. You be a good boy. Be a good boy. Thank you. Be a good boy. He's normally quite good. It's just he's bored. No, Bungle. Bungle, don't get mummy. They can't have that. No, be nice, Bungle. Be a good boy. Go to sleep, Bungs. When he was little in his little tiny... Oops, no, I'm not. I'm in the dining room. I'm in the lounge. I'm in the lounge. I haven't mended the ceiling yet, so... And I'm not in the new room. I'm not in my art studio, which is probably why Bungle thinks he can come and go as he likes. Don't you? Where are you going now? Hmm? Don't go that way. Don't go that way. Be a good boy. He wants to play. No! Can't play now. We can't play. That's my paintbrush now, Bungle. You like paintbrushes, don't you? Let me have a look at your claws. You want clipping? He's got such huge feet. You're not playing with Mummy's paintbrushes, Bungle. What can you play with? You can play with that. There's a straw, look. There we go. There we go. You play with that. There's a good boy. Poor little boy. He's bored, aren't you? Bored. Bungle's bored. So I'm just putting a little bit of different colour on, and then I can put shades. I've got Bungle hair everywhere now. You got your head in the way, Bungle. Bungle, your head's in the way. Come over here, please. Can we go sit down, please? Can we go sit down? You can have that. You want to have that? You've been a good boy. Don't know what happened to Quiet Bungle, but if it's not Alfie for spoiling a video, it's Bungle. He's the baby. Are you the baby? No, don't look at that, thank you. You don't want that. No, this is yours. This is yours, thank you. Yeah, you may have to have time out bungs in a minute. Oh, it's a good job it dries. Oh. You can sit on Mummy's knee. You don't want to sit on Mummy's knee, do you? You want to play. He's just a bored little cat. He's just bored. Right, let me see if I can zoom in a bit. So I'm going to make those into a shadow. I'm just going to drop the camera down so I've got rid of the bungle. Oh, avalanche. Avalanche. So I just readjust the read. So I was thinking about bringing out 6 of these tubes in a little set. See if anybody's got any requests or but these are my favourite colours that I like to mix other colours from. And there's one missing, but of course we've had a bungle, haven't we? So these are my colours. And I was thinking about putting them in a little box and making a zine with my colours and my colour wheel. And I wondered if anybody would be interested in that idea, so that you can actually see it in front of you. The colours that I'm mixing and how I do that. Oh, hi Miss Q. Oh, have you got a little monster as well? Little monster. He wasn't a big cat when we got him, he was a did. So I've got 2 tones on there, so I normally would let this dry a bit, but we can put some shadow in here now. And normally I would do this after I've finished everywhere else, because it's given this page time. These are small spaces, so we're not too bad. And you can kind of create a highlight and a shadow. So you can put a couple, but you can build up these colours if you let it dry first. Now really I shouldn't have done this. I should have finished the whole page, then gone back to this. But I just wanted to show you, you can then start to build up shadow and some nice, keep your nice highlights. So we put the highlights on first and then keep Oh, do you think so, Carolyn? Yeah, I thought so. I'll have a natter about that when I finish this video. Oh, I've got 2 more up there. Look. Again, with these Kirby's, you've got to keep an eye on what's going on. So I know that number 7. Now, number 7, I've used all that colour now, but it's okay because when that's dried, I can put some more of the same colour on if I want to. So we've got another one there. So I can then put the middle colour. And I think I'll just put the two colours. And then you want a highlight and a low light, but as soon as we're working in watercolours, we can't have a highlight, so we have to have quite a few low lights. So they've got two colours now. So now we need to move somewhere else and find a different colour. Let's have a look. This is a bigger one, this one here. So I like these, so I think I'm going to use those colours. So again, I just want the greens. So this particular page, I would just want this sleeve here with the colours on them. That's a slightly bigger one, and I think I'd like I think I'd like cedar green for that one. So again, scratch a bit of colour. And that's number 50. And I'll try a lighter yellow. So I've got canary yellow. So I'm going to use the yellow first. Sorry guys, put that on that. So I need a highlight on the outside. I'm sorry, Bungle's very vocal. Almost like having an Alfie. And there's a leaf behind there that I forgot, so we just put that one behind there. And then this is the same leaf, it's just further away, but it's the same stem, I think. So we have to do it the same colour. And I think this one was canary yellow, so I need to make a note of canary yellow. Because I will not remember the colour. So that stem goes to there and then it comes out here. And then sometimes when you've got all this organised in your head, it makes things a little bit easier. This looks the same leaf, but it doesn't have the things on it. And this one's, oh no, that's different because that one doesn't have those flowers on it. So let's have a look, see if we can find anything else that resembles that one. I think that's the only one. Bungle, don't do that, please. Oh, that's toffee now. Goodness gracious me. So I've got canary yellow and I've got number 50, which I think is cedar green. So activate a bit of that colour. And I'm only putting colour on the end, so I'm being quite careful. So you can have a lovely blend. activate that. Sorry guys, that is not my tummy rumbling, that's Toffee telling Bungle he's getting a bit too near, but has to sort it out for himself, bless him. Oh, he's talking to her, bless him. So, Bungle's taken over from Alfie. Now, because these are lovely watercolours, they melt, so you can actually just put one colour next to the other. And then the next time you wet the page, you can mix them on the page, as long as you don't rub too much with your brush. I kind of like that, but we do need a bit of difference between one or the other. And I have left that leaf there, so I need a little bit of something on there. You can decide. There's lots of different ways to use these pencils in a colour book. You've got to do what's easiest for you, whether you're at home or away, whether you're in the garden or you're in your studio. But there's lots of different techniques and lots of different variations on how to colour with these gorgeous Where has Bungle gone now? Oh, they've both disappeared. Bungs! Oh, he's right, he's behind me. Come here, little boy. Come here, darling. He just wants to play, bless him. We have another leaf here, but I think that's like a flower. So I need a bit of a orange chrome. So you could scratch colour on here if you wanted, or you can scratch colour here, and that's number 10. So you don't have to write them down, don't have to sharpen them. Again, it's another good thing about this way. Pick a little bit of colour up, and then I just want to give this a tone, so I know that that's what it is. So this is very much like when you watercolour. You just cover everything with one colour or two flat colours, and then you can go in there and put detail in later. So I need to find some more of those. They're different. That's like a conker. Can't see any more flowers appearing. So going to use a different green for this one. This one's dark green, and the nicest thing is that, you know, if you scratch the colour on, as long as this has been a day to dry, you can re-scratch this colour and use this colour palette for another page, but you have to let it dry first. I couldn't scratch into the ones I've just done. Now this is a little bit strong. And he wants to play, does our bungle. She'll knock your socks off, mister. He can't understand it, can't bungle, because everybody loves bungle. Bungle. And I got Betsy Doodles in the hammock yesterday. Hi, Bongs. He's just chasing around. No, he's not chasing, he's following around. Going, you are going to play with me. And she's going, I'm not going to play with you. And she's going, you're going to play with me. I want to play. Kind of like those dark ones. Different tone again. He's following. Bungle, she'll box your ears. Bongs. Puss, puss. Oh, he just wants to play. Poor little man. He's desperate for another kitten, but we can't have another one because we just rescue ones that are broken, and he's broken. Are you broken, Bongs? Bongs. Bongo. Just looking for a juniper green. I've broken that one, so I need to sharpen that one. Find my... So this is a comb automatic long point. I think it's better you can see it when there's some dark behind. And it has a number 1 and number 2. So you put the pencil in number 1 first. Goodness me. And you turn it, and you can see, oopsie, you can see it takes the wood off, it doesn't touch the point. He's in Alfie's toy box now. So I'm not actually going to do anything with that. That's the strip in the middle. I'm just going to leave that. But what you would then do is put it into the other one to oops, have I just broken that? I thought I had. No, there we go. So just put that on there and we'll scratch. Oh, it did break, but never mind. It'll do for what I want it for. So that one is number 42. Now bearing in mind I've had these pencils before the girls were born, so they've done quite well. So that's number 42. So I think I'm just going to put that one over the top. So I'm not just to do. I think one goes under there. That one goes under there. Now, when you do your shadows and your low lights, we can make that leaf go underneath the other leaf, so we don't have to worry about that. So we can quite happily. I'll put the green in just purely because I know where it is then. so we just know where that is. And we just keep using that paper palette. And if you get stuck with all these green leaves, you can also add every yellow to every green, and you can add every blue to every green, and then you can add every blue to every yellow and get hundreds of greens. So it's never ending. So this is this one, this is this one, and then that's the same, but it's got those on, so I might do that differently. I think this one has got to be the same. No, perhaps not. You can do that a different one. And that one's got to be different as well. So I scribbled, I think it was this one. Is 16558. 16558. Hi, Bunks. Psst, psst, psst. You're going to be naughty. And that's given me, I want to do this one. And I didn't really want it to be too dark, because remember, we can always go darker, but it's not always easy to go lighter. So I can do that one behind. And they do look very similar, but they're not. So I can put that one up to there. Now, I could have put a yellow at the end if I wanted, but I think I might do this one quite a bright colour. But again, you want to get all your base colours down before you decide what you're going to do. Oh, hi Melody. Sorry guys. This is Fantomorphia, Kirby Roseanne's new book. And this is the first page, which is the blackbird, I think, with leaves. So I'm using the pencils, watercolour pencils, in a paper palette. So I'm just using this one. So the pale colour is to go down to be the highlight. So you're working in a nearly more traditional way, and then you've got to let this rest so that we can have other colours on top. There's a leaf behind there. And I'm just going to put a little bit of green on there because it tells me that that's that particular one. So there are quite a few different greens on there now. But if you want to make your own greens, you frightened Bungle. Is she a big frightening girl? Toffee, behave yourself, Toff. So I think I'm going to have that blue and oh, poor Bungle, he just wants to be friends. So that's number 32, Spectrum Blue. And this one is 61816. and then we're going to make those two, mix them together to create a green. Now that's a bit bright green for me. I don't know if I like that one. Probably might do. I think I'll do this one, I think. Oh, possibly there's a like a fern. This one here. I think I'm going to do this one. So it's a bit of a turquoisey colour, this one, but I can darken it down, deepen it. So it's quite a rich colour, but again that's another green that I've mixed together. So by the time you've filled this little book with all your colour page, oh dear, eyesight's going a bit, that one's attached to, no, wait a minute, sometimes you have to think about this. So you could make hundreds and hundreds of greens just from your blues and yellows. You can add yellow to all your greens. You can add blue to all your greens. You can add all your yellows and all your blues together to make greens. So really you can make hundreds of greens from just a few. And it all depends on the yellow and the blue that you use. So there's one behind which I think is fairly similar. I think that one is fairly similar. That one that turns and quills up there. And so you just have to, and this one is definitely curled. Seem to have gone in all different directions, these, but again, once you've got one of these kind of sorted, you can see what's behind it. So as always with the cubbies, you have to pick the easiest ones first, and then the others will fall into place. So thanks guys for stopping by. Anybody got any questions? And that's the last one. Right in the corner. Oops. Then there's the different one behind there. There's another different one behind there. So it's going to take quite a bit to get. Just looking to see if I can find another one of these. I don't think we have one. Unless that's like it. No, it isn't. So I've got these which are very similar, which is the ends of the wings. So that one, wasn't it? That one. $68558. So because that's wet now, or damp, it's not wet but it's damp, I can't work on there, I have to go next to it. But if that was tomorrow, I could just scratch over the top. But I want some more now and I don't want to wait, so. But it would disintegrate if you did try to do it straight away. So I've got this one to do now. This big one here to do as well. I think I'll do that one. And you have to clean your brush and have a barely damp brush. And this is a little bit wetter, but it's a small space. You couldn't work like this if it was a big space because it would buckle. So the flamingo, that is better to scratch the colour on. But if they're small spaces, you can use them with a damp rigger as a watercolour brush, as a watercolour, and they'll be fine. Once you've done this a few times and you know how much colour you need, you could scratch the colour in the book and leave the pencils at home. But if you were going to do that, you may as well make a little watercolour book like mine. And then we can't forget the one that's at the back. It's got the two little ones at the end there. So this isn't finished, this is just putting one layer on, or perhaps two, as a highlight. So if I pan out, and you can see that I've got some leaves with a flat colour, some with two colours, some with a bit of a highlight, and some with two colours. So thanks for watching part one of Fantomorphia with my watercolour pencils and scratching on a paper palette. Thanks for watching.